Hello all, BL Carter here, affectionately known as Miss B, hoping that you are working on the pieces to your puzzle and getting it done. Just wanted to pop in really quickly and talk about churches. I know several of my videos have either on my channel or on the Lance Scurf show have referenced churches. And though there were times that I mentioned not all churches deal with some of the wickedness and evil that we've been bringing to light, I just want to do a separate video just to acknowledge that, because it seems like that's gotten lost in the shuffle, if you will. And just that, not all churches are bad or evil or wicked. And actually, it's not the church per se. It's the people that are in the church, that are running the church, that carry these qualities or these characteristics that are undesirable, or do these behaviors that are undesirable. And let me just preface this to say, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you too many times what to do. There may be some occasions where put my foot down, this is it, this is what you got to do. But oftentimes the approach that I take is I'm going to share with you what I know. I'm going to share with you what I may have experienced or have witnessed firsthand as a primary teller, if you will, a primary reporter. But the goal is to get the information in you and allow you to start thinking about it, processing it, and seeing how it relates to you, so that you can do or take whatever action you need to take for yourself. Some people will get on and tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that, this is this way, this is that way. That's just not the way I operate. I tend to operate in, I guess what you would call the process of agreement. Bring the information to the person, get them to process it, analyze it, flip it whatever way they've got to flip it, so that they can see what applies to them, what doesn't apply to them. They can do the thinking for themselves and then begin to take whatever action is appropriate for themselves. So that being said, but in regards to the churches, there are many, I won't say many, let me correct that. I have seen, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 in my lifetime that I would venture to say, and it's not the church itself, again, it's the people that are running the church, that you could say is a good church. They're trying to do what it is they believe needs to be done. Now, whether they're on the right track or whether they're deceived overall with the entire concept of religion and Christianity is a different video. But when you look at the hearts of the leaders, you look at the hearts of the people that are there, they are really there with a desire to serve, to serve God, or Yahweh, or the Most High, the Creator, whatever term you want to use. They are there to serve Him. They believe it is their duty to be there and get the information that they're getting, and to get the life lessons, the morals, and then turn around and put that back out into the community. And not so much as disciples bringing in more people, but more so as community activists, as doing in the community, as in cleaning up the neighborhoods that they're in, as in getting some of the drug dealers off the street, getting some of the drug addicts clean, and to a point of being able to see their lives where they are and put some puzzle pieces together and make a life as best they can based on whatever previous that they've done. There was one, I think, on that long 6-hour video we did the other day, which we're going to try to cut up or chop up and make a little smaller, shorter. I referenced one church in Atlanta, that the church that I was baptized in as a 19-year-old, 18, 19, somewhere in that range. I can't remember the exact age. I'd have to count back. But that's just one example. And since I haven't called the names of the churches where I know all the foolishness is going on, I won't necessarily call the name of the churches that I believe have a true and honest desire in what they're doing. But I will say they're there, few and far in between, but they are still there. So if you desire to remain in the Christian faith and active in a church, you just got to look really, really, really hard. You've got to do some visiting. Just because you feel good at a particular service one day, think long and hard who you're listening to, what spirit you're listening to, what the environment is, etc., before you just say, oh yeah, this is the place I need to be. God told me to be here. Think long and hard about that. Oftentimes, people who are not in a place where they need to be spiritually are hearing stuff, but it may not necessarily be God or Yahweh or the Creator. And so there are many, again, not the many, several churches, not just the one in Atlanta, but I witnessed one personally in Alabama. Not as big a church, smaller church, but the desire of the people was there. The desire of the leadership was there. I witnessed financial handling that was of a great level of integrity and transparency. I witnessed leadership maintaining integrity when it came to being around members of the opposite sex. I did not see, and I was very active at this particular church, I did not see a lot of intermingling and sexing and adultery and things like that. Were there broken people there? Yeah. Were they still doing stuff they had no business doing if they call themselves a Christian? Yes. But what I did witness was the older women calling them out, not necessarily publicly, and I did not see the pastor standing up in the pulpit telling people's business. I witnessed a lot of private or small group correction. And then the people, would make the appropriate changes as they needed to, or they chose not to, and it is what it is. I've seen that in the Texas area as well, in the Metro Houston area. So you just have to look. You have to look. If you choose to remain Christian, or again in the church, actively in the church, you just have to make sure that you're in a good place. Those are, some of the things you want to look for are, what are they doing? What's happening with the finances? Is there transparency? Can you see the work in the people in that are sitting in the sanctuary? Can you see the work or the fruit of the Spirit, if you will, in the leaders? Can you see it in what they're doing in the community? Are they reaching out? Are they pulling people up and out? Are they making programs and services available to not just the members, but the people in the community where they are? Their mission field, if you will, is definitely the area surrounding them immediately. So if you've got a church that the pastor's got his home, his cars, or whatever the case may be, his first lady, his wife, whatever, has all her stuff, the leaders have their stuff, and good bit of the members do, but everyone in the community around them is not being affected or touched in any way, you might want to think about that. Because the Bible that I remember reading very clearly says the work is not inside the building, the work is outside the building. So if they're working inside the building to build up the people, and whether it's all of them or a select number, or inside the building and ignoring those outside, that's something you might want to think about. We know, and I've said this, and I stand on this, religion itself, religion, not faith, not spirituality, but religion itself is a tool to manipulate people, to control how you think and behave. Sadly, it was done for the negative, to control and manipulate in a negative way, to oppress people, to enslave people, or keep people enslaved and keep them complicit in in the enslavement or in the oppression. But let's flip that. What if that religion was used to manipulate and control people in a good way? What if that religion was used, and those scriptures, most of the ones that these pastors don't even want to talk about, get to those scriptures, pull those out, and use those to manipulate people, to control people, to do better by themselves, to do better by each other, to do better by their children, to do better by their communities, their jobs, and everyone they interact with. And it's not enough just to tell them. It's you got to show them. So, not to say there's anything wrong, right or wrong with religion, because that's your choice. I would just offer that if, one of the ways that we can begin to correct some things, besides doing our own individual healing, besides doing our own connecting with our Creator ourselves, besides owning our stuff and all that other stuff, is to maybe look at taking religion from a perspective of everyone coming to the church house on a Sunday, put in our money, we go there, we work, we give of our time, our talents, and our treasure in various ways, and we pull our resources to build toward a select few at the top, and everyone else further down that pyramid, or everyone else in the community, just fall by the wayside and just, get in where you can fit in, get what you can get, or just go without. Let's not use it for that. Use it to get these people to begin doing better things. Get them to begin loving each other more. Get them to begin loving on their neighbor, truly loving on their neighbor. That's biblical. That's straight up scriptural. You're not supposed to be hoarded up in a building. You're supposed to be out in the mission field, or out at the jailhouses, or down at the children's shelter, or at the women's shelter, or at the hospital, rocking the babies who've been abandoned by their parents, giving them that early love that you can give them until we, society, CPS, whomever it is, the hospitals, figure out what to do with these abandoned babies. So use religion in that regard. Use it to teach people how to handle their finances better, so that they can, be strategic with it, so that they can be a better help to someone else. Is that not the word? The Lord bless you so that you can be a blessing to someone else. Well, you've been blessed. Now you have this religion, you have this church. Use it to better the people, not just yourself, not just your top leadership, but all your members and the people in your mission field. I speak up about the negativity, the wickedness, the evil, the corruption that I've seen in churches, because I've seen too many people hurt. The Bible says we're supposed to expose it. The Bible says you go to the appropriate persons if you've got issues with them, if they're doing stuff they ain't got no business doing, you go to them, you address it with them. If they choose to take heed and make corrections, great, excellent. If they choose not to, you go again and you bring your witnesses, you bring your elders, etc. And you try that. You continue to try that, obviously. But when it gets to a point where they just refuse to listen, they refuse to take correction, they refuse to try to see whatever modifications need to be made, then it becomes time to not worry so much about them, but target the people that are hearing, so that they don't fall weak to it. And hopefully those persons who are doing the bad stuff or the wrong stuff will get themselves corrected. But the last thing you want is to sit and watch another 100, 200, 300 people fall into who knows what, because they listen to someone who is off track, who's fallen off the wagon, if you will, and who won't listen to reason to get themselves back on the wagon. So in that regard, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to bring out. Not all these churches are bad. And again, that's church body, not the church building itself. Not all these church bodies, not all these pastors, their wives, and their leadership is bad. There are some, few and far in between. Really like finding a needle in a haystack these days, but they're out there, and you just gotta look. And you just gotta ask for guidance. If that's what you feel you need to be doing, if that's where you are spiritually, where you still have to be in a church setting with a group on a regular basis, then ask for guidance. When you pray, whether you get on your knees, you stand in the shower, driving down the road, wherever it is you pray to your creator, to your maker, ask for guidance where you should go. I'm weak. I don't feel like I can do this by myself. I feel like I need that assembly on a more consistent basis. Guide me in where to go so that I can get that until I can branch out and do me. Or should I be doing this at all? That was one of the questions I had. And I've got a video that I wanted to do on church itself, just to put some information out there and let people make some decisions on their own. And this, kind of touches, I guess, a little bit into it. But yeah, you've got to ask for guidance and start asking yourself these questions. Should you even be doing religion, whatever religion it may be? Or should you be independent in your living room, having your own religion, if you will, having your faith, having your connection, your spirituality in your household with just you, or you and your spouse, your children, whomever is in your home, just y'all, and build that connection that way, because that's what it should be anyway. So this is getting longer than I wanted it to be. I had a few minutes while I was waiting on something, and I decided to go ahead and do this right quick, just because it has come to my attention that a lot of the content has been on the negative sides of church, and I've not spent enough time showing that the positives and the benefits. So there are definitely some positives and some benefits. Iron sharpens iron. When I'm wrong, if I'm in a good group, I need y'all to correct me. I need you to set me straight. I need you to help me make the modifications I need to make to be a better person. So in that regard, there is a benefit. That being the case, just think about it. Again, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. Your life is your life to live. It was given to you, not to me. But you want to make your decisions wisely. And you definitely don't want to make your decision because somebody stood in a pulpit and told you this is what you need to do. Anybody tells you something, you research it. You pray about it. You meditate on it. Fast if you have to. Fasting is usually awesome because it removes a lot of negative toxins and stuff. Toxins that impact the way in which you think. So fasting is always a good way to establish a stronger connection with the Creator and allow yourself to hear more clearly what the Creator is saying for you to do. That being the case, hopefully these words will help someone, be a benefit to someone in some way, and continue to work on your puzzle one piece at a time, and be blessed.